Yo guys, what's going on? My name is HackingIsFreedom and welcome to the 21st episode of What Was Cut, a series where we take a look at what exactly was cut from our favorite games. Today we're going to be talking about Manhunt 2. Ah yes, I remember when this game was super controversial, just like the first one. I honestly find it pretty funny that Rockstar was basically like, oh, you thought the first one was bad? Well, here's some more. Not too many game developers can say their only two releases in a game series got banned. Both of the Manhunts are just amazing games though, and without this stepping stone, we wouldn't have some of the horror games we see nowadays. Anywho, let's hunt down some inmates and figure out what was cut.
They wanted a perfect assassin? Well, they got one.
Textures are up first, and honestly, we don't have that many for this game. The first textures I'm going to talk about are all icons for weapons that never actually made it into the final game. So we have an icon for a blowtorch, which would have been a super fun weapon to use. An icon for a newspaper roll, which apparently was going to be an actual weapon, though a very strange one. An icon for blackjack, which is the bat from the first game. We have an icon for a rubber toy, and yeah, this would have been an actual weapon as well. It almost seems like Rockstar wanted some joke weapons, like the newspaper roll as well. This money icon was likely used as a luring object, or possibly there was early plans on adding some sort of shop to the game. There's an icon for an acid bottle, and I'm not too sure if this was going to be a unique weapon, or if it's just an earlier version of the bottle that you can use on the PC version, because there's been like 4 different versions of bottles in this game. We have an icon for a hammer, which also would have been a super fun weapon to use. There's an icon for some sort of hook weapon, which is different than the meat hook. There was probably plans on making this a standard weapon, but it got scrapped at some point. We have an icon for an Uzi with a flashlight, and this is the exact same one that's used in-game, just with an added flashlight. This icon is of a camera, and I'm not really sure if this was supposed to be used as a weapon, or as something that you needed to use for a certain type of mission. I'm going to go with it was a weapon, because personally, I would have loved to see some executions with a camera. That would have been so gnarly. This last icon seems to be an earlier version of the severed head weapon. This texture here is an early version of the game's logo, and it can be seen in the May 9th, 2007 PS2 build. This texture here is a Pigsy's mask from the first Manhunt. It's labeled as WATHEDA, which indicates it was going to be used by the Watch Dogs gang. These last few textures are of random effects that flash up on the screen. You can see that all of them were super basic and they were completely redone in the final game. The cut models are next, and we have some pretty cool ones. The SWAT team originally had a more futuristic and honestly quite cartoony look. This very strange model of a puppet is known as Frisbee, and according to the developers, he was seen all around beta builds, probably meaning that this model was most likely used as a placeholder for other models in need of replacing. This is the recreated version with textures still left over from the PSP version, but this picture here shows what Frisbee looked like in an early PS2 beta build. This next model is of a Legion member, and you can see that Rockstar used an early Leo model before Leo had his actual place in the game. You can also see that the inmate outfits were traditional orange in earlier stages of development. In this screenshot, you can see Danny in an orange outfit as well. This model here is a beta version of the Legion's outfit, and I really like this design a lot more than what we got in the final game. It looks much cooler. There's a model of a guillotine that was supposed to be used in the sexual deviance and history museum levels, but this was cut late in development as there's also a cut execution that goes along with it, which we'll see in just a little bit. The Bloodhounds gang originally had a very different design, looking more like freedom fighters than stereotypical hillbillies. I really like their original design much more, but it doesn't really fit with the aesthetics of the game. The Project Militia gang originally looked a lot different as well, looking more like the Cerberus gang from the first Manhunt. I like these designs a lot more as well. This model, I'm unsure of where it was supposed to be seen. It may be an early version of a generic inmate, or possibly it's an early version of a Legion member, as it still has the orange suit. This last model I'm also unsure of where it was supposed to be seen, although it looks like a mash between the Cerberus and the Project Militia gangs. It's labeled as BOSKAMCT if you're curious. Next up are the cut animations, and mainly we have executions, so that's where we're going over first. Starting with the firearms. All guns were supposed to have 3 levels of executions, just like the melee weapons, but they were all cut for whatever reason.
What? What? What?
The tranquilizer gun was supposed to have 3 levels of executions as well. And same with the flare gun, it was also going to have 3 levels of executions. There's a single cut execution for an unused guillotine object. This animation can still be found in the 0.01 release of the PSP version. There's also a single cut execution for a picket, which is like a broken wooden fence pole, similar to a wooden spike.
What the? Listen! You hear that? Let's get trapped in the garbage again! I swear to God!
This next animation is for a cut dumpster execution, and it seems pretty cool. I'm personally a big fan of the environmental executions. There's another environmental execution that was planned for the vending machines, and this has got to be one of the goofiest executions in the game. The last executions are for the scrapped rubber toy and newspaper weapons. These animations are all from a beta build of Manhunt, and there's also an earlier version of the bottle executions. The only other animations that got cut are for the player breaking through some floorboards with a bat. This was supposed to be seen in the Ghosts level, where Daniel was going to break through the floorboards to get the drug. As for other unused weapons, there's a large amount that are referenced in the exe file, but they aren't seen anywhere in the game. We have a bunch of icons for these weapons as well, and most of them are earlier versions than what we see in the final game. Here you can see an even earlier version of the severed head icon I was talking about earlier. The bat and chain weapon is here, and the porno mag is here too. The razor was originally called Cutthroat Razor, the sledgehammer was originally known as a mallet, and of course there's a few more. The amount of weapons that Rockstar had planned for this game is crazy, and I know some of these are still left over from the first Manhunt. Next, I want to talk about the various cut levels, but sadly there's very little left over. Only some pictures and text strings remain. So this first level is called History Museum, and this is the only pictures we have of it. It kind of looks like these images take place in a courtyard of an asylum, although this exact texture is used by a few other levels in the final game, and it could be seen in the Relive episode menu. This level was supposed to be directly after Sexual Deviance. There's another cut level called Sorority House, and this was supposed to be directly after the level's safe house. This picture is all the evidence that we have of it, and it definitely looks like a typical sorority house. To me, it looks like one of the bars from Red Dead Redemption, or at least a house from that era. This third cut level is called A20 End Internally, so this would have most likely been an early ending level. Lastly, here's all the text that references other cut levels. You can see the History Museum, Sorority House, and ending levels here, but there's a lot more that were in the game at some point in development. All these levels down here are test levels, and I would have loved to see what they would have looked like, but sadly, Rockstar usually doesn't leave their test maps in their games. It's time for the sounds and voice lines, and there's a surprising amount of audio left over from cut executions, which of course we're going to go over first. So these first sounds are all cut executions from various melee weapons, and each weapon has 3 stages of executions, those being hasty, violent, and gruesome.
Hey, whoa!
These next sounds are all from cut environmental executions. The last sounds for executions are these 3 pretty funny sounding placeholder lines. One of these sounds would have just repeated over and over when playing an execution sound that wasn't finished yet.
The sound you're hearing now, it is not the right sound. Ain't been built yet. Thank you.
Yo, this sound ain't got built yet.
This sound has not been built yet.
There's also some generic hit sounds for the acid bottle, rubber toy, blowtorch, and the hammer. It seems like a lot of these weapons got pretty far in development with the amount of leftovers. On to the voice lines, and these first ones were all intended to be heard in the Most Wanted level.
Lucky for me, that helicopter decided to follow you. Unlucky for you, that searchlight will cut through the darkest shadow. Us or them, Danny?
Son, you shut that door and you remember what I taught you! Be careful! That searchlight could find us in the shadows! They won't be able to hear us with that helicopter noise!
2 targets are harder to hunt. I'll see you at the train yard a couple of blocks from here.
You need a better view, Danny. See if you could get higher. You're nearly there, Danny. See you on the other side.
It's a trap! Get out of here! Run! We've got to get in there! Hurry! Yes, ma'am. I'll stay calm, but please send someone quickly! Be careful, Daddy! You're right. Danny, you're right. Lead the way.
Freeze!
Keep calm. We believe an escaped mental patient is in the vicinity.
These next ones were supposed to be heard in a sexual deviance level.
Use the sledgehammer and break that lock. We need something to smash that lock. Hey, I think I recognize this place. No, I think I remember a woman here. Judy. She must be hiding somewhere. Take care of her customer first. We need her alone. There was There was a dungeon underneath this place.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a minute. Hey, I got us a new toy to play with. Who's out there? I still ain't done with this guy yet. This is gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me. Man, you see that head come apart? I always wondered what the inside of a man's skull looks like.
Come with me. Trust nobody, Danny. Trust no one, Danny.
Looks like we're ahead of the game, Danny. Get it? Forget it.
Come on, Danny. Surely this is the one part of this place you remember.
Oh, great. You think you remember, huh? Let's find her, ask about the matches, and get out of here. This is where the project find people they want and lose people they don't. People like us. There must have been emergency access built into these rooms.
I've spoken to the man. They got a treat for us tonight. Young, blonde, real pretty. She's real young.
How young? The last one was way too old.
Go away! I'm busy! Quit that banging! I got 10 minutes left! I only just started! Get lost!
These ones were supposed to be heard in the assassination level.
Holy shit, that's him! That's him!
We killed one of our own. The project's not gonna be happy.
Okay, we need to get to the other side. Try to shoot those girders down with your sniper rifle. Look around for some ammo.
Like a calf to the slaughterhouse.
They wanted a perfect assassin? Well, they got one, right between the eyes. I told you, Danny, they wanted to make us slaves. We're not gonna be controlled by anyone, right? Brothers in war. Let's have some fun, take the quick way up.
He's heading for the rooftops! I got him pinned. Pursuing the assassin! Keep him suppressed! We're going in! Trapped like a rat! Set up a kill zone! They've lost the target! Do not let him sneak past you! Do not let him escape!
The manhole, run for it!
Contact with target! He's on scaffolding outside!
And finally, these voice lines were supposed to be heard in the release therapy level, which suggests a different ending was planned.
I know what you are, Leo. I win. You're pathetic. You're gonna be the last thing I kill. It's over, Leo. I don't want you in my head anymore. You're a cancer, and I know how to cut you out. I'm taking my life back. You made me too good a killer. You're just a failed experiment. You shut your fucking mouth, Leo!
Look, you can't just sit around waiting to be lobotomized. Get your shit together, we're leaving.
Hey, I need backup!
You turned yourself into a monster!
There's a lot more unused dialogue from other missions, but in the sake of time, I only showed about half of them. If you want to check out more, I suggest looking at ZT's channel. They have a lot more unused dialogue uploaded to YouTube, so a big thanks to them. Of course, the link will be in the description. To finish off the audio stuff, we have a single cut music track that's actually a banger. It was intended to be used for the credits as it's simply labeled as credits theme. If you've ever played Juice 2, this sounds so similar to a track used in that game when customizing your car. As we come to the end of the video, it's time for the various oddities I found throughout the game. The first oddity I have for you is the changes done to the loading screens. All loading screens have been changed in one way or another, and I only put this in the oddity section because I honestly like a lot of the original versions. I'm not really sure why Rockstar felt the need to change these. I feel like the early versions give off a much more ominous feel, you know? Did you know that Rockstar was planning on adding female inmates to the world of Manhunt? There's a bunch of unused dialogue left over, but could you imagine if this actually happened? I mean, there isn't that much of an issue today with violent games and females, but executing females in the most gruesome way possible in 2007 probably wasn't a good idea. On top of all of the hate this game already got, oh man.
Save me! I'm the nice one! Pleased to meet me. I'm killing my twin. Where's the handsome one? He's dirty. Let's make a four-way. She's the dirty one! Pick me! The bridge has disappeared. Me, Jane, and me, Jane. Where's my pickman? One side to another, not a rope bridge. Pick me! Pick a man! Over the bridge and far away, no more needles. She's sleeping. She's me. I killed her.
For some reason, the traditional eye logo you see when starting the game was missing its color in the beta build. No idea why or how this happened, but I guess that's why it's a beta. It just looks so weird without its proper colors though. Also, for some strange reason, there's a huge placeholder texture underneath the plaza in the assassination mission, and the texture itself is simply named Plaza. This seems to be the only temp texture still used somewhere in this game. Have you ever thought that the level complete screen was missing something? Like, it was unfinished? Well, it turns out that the level complete screen in beta builds was completely different. It originally showed you the amount of people you killed during the level, the amount of executions performed in the level, how many environmental executions you performed, and of course your style points. Definitely a very strange one to change if you ask me. The main menu image was changed slightly from earlier builds as well. I kinda like the earlier version a bit better because it shows more of the area. The one used in game just seems a little too dark for me. It loses some of the detail. The startup video was a bit different in earlier builds as well. Here's the early version compared to the final version. You can see that there was less video effects, the Rockstar logo didn't change colors, and obviously the most notable difference is that sound of a girl speaking. That's actually the first few seconds from the opening cutscene to the Bee's Honeypot level, where Danny's wife says, "What do you mean you volunteered for?" But it's slowed down by about 350%, which makes it sound very, very creepy. The setup menu in the final game was originally just called Brightness, and some of the text was changed too. Yet another strange thing to change. I don't see an issue with the early version. The last oddity I have for you is the system-exclusive weapons. Stuff like this was big in the late 2000s and early 2010s, but I never understood console-specific content, and I'm a console player myself. If it's in the game, it shouldn't really matter what console you're on. Anywho, the flashlight was a unique weapon found only being used by civilians, cops, and the Bloodhounds gang on the PS2 and PSP versions. There's a mace weapon that's exclusive to the Wii version, and that's used by the pervs. The straight razor is exclusive to the PC and Wii versions, and it can be found in the red light, ritual cleansing, and origins levels. The bottle, which is only used as a luring object, is exclusive to the PS2 and PSP versions, and it can be found in the ghosts, red light, and the most wanted levels. Finally, there's a katana that can be used in every version but the Wii release, and it can be found in the broadcast interrupted level. And that's all I have for Manhunt 2. Man, Rockstar really knows how to make a great game. Like, literally everything they made in my eyes is just great. Bully, Manhunt, Midnight Club, Max Payne, L.A. Noire, Red Dead Redemption, and of course, the GTA series. I know this is a bit random and completely off topic, but are y'all ready for Black Ops 6? God man, I truly can't wait. It's been a while since I personally enjoyed a COD. I think the last one I truly played hardcore was Black Ops 3. I legit haven't played any other Call of Duty in between the launch of Black Ops 3 and Modern Warfare 2 from 2022. So, I mean, I've been out of the game for a while. I was a huge Zombies fan, so I'm very eager to check out the new Zombies experience. Anywho, if you have a suggestion for the next What Was Cut episode, please feel free to comment down below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.